Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans. It's a Thursday morning, and all is great here in Dolphin Land as we're getting ready to take on Buffalo Bills on some Sunday night football action. It's a throwback Thursday Dolphins edition. So if you're ready, I'll throw some Miami Dolphins trivia questions at you. Talk about the good old days as we're moving forward into this one. One trivia question we do not like to answer is when the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game. Way too long ago is a simple answer. But yes, we are getting to that chance. We can grab the AFC East title and then load and behold, maybe get a home playoff. I mean, for sure, get a home playoff game if we win the AFC East title. Then load and behold, maybe win that long-awaited playoff game, guys. We are there. It's on the cusp, and we can have it under our control, under our wraps. So that's all I say. Good morning. Big fins up to Bobby Fins Talk of the Fins Talk Sports Network and G-Man, as always, who joined the show yesterday. A lot of fun talking Miami Dolphins football. So Buffalo, for whatever reason, has dominated us recently. Other than the one game last year at Hard Rock where we held on for dear life and got the victory. But Josh Allen, as I said in the show yesterday, his number against the Dolphins are ridiculously high. He's 9-2 against the Dolphins. Passer rating well over 100. Great interception to touchdown ratio. So the Josh Allen we see not be so great against some other teams. That Josh Allen never shows up when he plays the Dolphins. The elite Josh Allen shows up when he plays the Dolphins. So what do the Dolphins have to do to make adjustments? Boom. Thank you, G-Man. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Thank you so much. It's G-Man. I'm with you, though, like I've told you many times. Always waiting for that other shoe to drop. I'm just trying to see if they can just beat Buffalo this week. If they don't beat Buffalo this week, yes, it could get very ugly. But at least if they can win the division, somehow manage to beat Buffalo, who has owned us the past few years, unfortunately, somehow beat them, get a hold of that AFC East title is something to build upon moving forward. And into this year, you can build on a positive energy moving forward because there's nothing positive about last week's game. Absolutely nothing that you can point at other than maybe A-Chan, Durham Smite, Jason Sanders continues to kick the ball through the uprights. But other than that, I'd be hard pressed. I mean, that's a dedicated Dolphin that I try to be to point to any positives because that was a good old fashioned butt whooping. They just curb stomped us, butt kicked us, spanked us, embarrassed us, whatever term you want to use. That's what they did to us this past Sunday. So it's time for the Dolphins to man up, get ready. Next man up. Who knew going into the season when you have Chubb and Jalen Phillips that we're going to be relying on Melvin Ingram and Ogba and Van Ginkel to step up to the plate on the edge and get that press. Van Ginkel, I have all kinds of faith in Van Ginkel when you give that man the opportunity. Since he's been with the Dolphins, he's always making plays one way or the other. So, boom, that I have faith in that he will step up and somehow get there and make plays. The thing about Josh Allen, though, you can't just get hands on him. You got to throw him down because he will break out of a tackle when you think you got him for a sack. And the next thing you know, Josh Allen's running for a first down. You got to contain him or wrap him up. He's not going to go down if you just bump him unless he wants to draw a penalty. All of a sudden, he becomes Mr. Weak and he flops, down like a flip-flop. But, other than that, he's tough when he still has the ball in his hands and he's running around. Hey, Timothy Washington. Boom. Thank you for coming in the room today, Timothy. Always a pleasure to see you hit the chat room. Thank you, Timothy, for finding us once again this morning. I know there's a lot of other avenues you guys can get your Dolphins content. So I really appreciate it, guys. Big fins up to all you guys. So when was the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game? I say it on here all the time. That'll be my first trivia question. It was way too long ago. It's the hint on that one. But on this throwback Thursday, that's why I'm going to look at some of the positives. Yes, man, that's what I say. There you go. Fuck Buffalo. That's a good way you change the letters around to keep it PG 13G, man. I love it. Big kudos to you. But yes, Buffalo, unfortunately, has been doing it the other way around. They've been getting us, but it's our time to get a little paid back. I think we can do okay. I just can't see this team getting destroyed 2 weeks. I think it's going to be a very, very competitive game, one that can go into the kind of like the Dallas Cowboys games down here that we finally beat a team with a winning record. Keep it close, battle to the end, will yourself to victory at the end in the fourth quarter. Try to have the ball in your hands, not in their defense trying to stop Josh Allen. Kind of use that recipe like we did against the Cowboys, milk the clock at the end, score, walk out of there AFC East division winners. That's what I want. Good morning, Michael K, the Buffalo fan of the day. I saw you in the other room, Miss Finn's guys. Make sure check out her content all the time. She's rolling too, so I appreciate you guys finding me today. Hey, Back It Up Ben's podcast. I hope you're feeling better. What teams am I ever lose to? And hey, that's right. That's a great trivia question. And that answer, since you asked it, the Buffalo Bills, they were undefeated against the Miami Dolphins were undefeated against the Buffalo Bill in the 1970s. And I guess with all that great magic, now we've been paying back. We've been getting payback, unfortunately. But it's time for us to turn the tables and start getting some wins against them again. It would be sweet because they had a decade of dominance over that franchise. As great as O.J. Simpson was, he never really got to beat the Miami Dolphins. That's why I think to this day Dolphins drive him crazy when he talk about them. And of course, we won't talk about OJ's off the field stuff. Talking about his on the field stuff, he was a really good football player. Never got to beat our Miami Dolphins, so that was great. Good morning, Aquavision. Big fins up to you guys. Check it out. The Back It Up Binge podcast. One of his episodes taught me one thing. I do not know movie trivia very well, and I've seen every single movie that he had, and I did not know one answer from his questions. Granted, it's been a while since I've watched any of the movies, at least a few years since I probably watched any of those movies, but still, you think I could have maybe got one of his trivia questions, but no, totally bombed it. But that's okay. It's all fun and it's a good thing. See how you guys do. If you like movie trivia, check him out. I read somewhere from credible source that Ross would be livid if Dolphins don't host a Cleveland. He wants that home game. Hey, I think he would be. I really do. He has said at the beginning of the season, I forget the exact term, but he basically said, "You better believe it," with a little maybe profanity in there. But I forget why. I'm not afraid to say a profanity, but I forget what one, so I don't want to misquote him. But he basically said, "You better believe it," because they said, "Do you have expectations with all the money you've spent on this team this year, with the team that they've assembled, you reworking contracts? Do you have high expectations of a team this year?" And he said, "You better believe it." Like I said, with one of the profanity words um, in there. So he expects this team to win. So there is pressure for sure. But I don't think, no matter what, I think we're going to be status quo after this year. He's normally the 3-year itch guy. So McDaniel and crew will get this year and next year. Me personally, I like Mike McDaniel. I think we can grow with him. The team can grow with him. And I would hate to see him go. Yep, you're welcome. Oh man. Yes, we are injured, Mike. Okay, but I'm not going to make excuses because you're going to say, "Oh, don't make excuses often Thursday." But yes, the Dolphins are coming in with a lot of injured players, and it sucks. But if I say it, you're just going to say I'm making excuses. So there you go. Make of what it will. To me, it's a legitimate gripe, but you still got to go out there and play the game. You got other NFL players out there on the field getting paid for this very moment to step up in the place of the injured players. So it's time for them to earn their paycheck and go help the Dolphins come out on top against the Buffalo Bills. So the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff, guys, it was how long ago? You don't have to name the exact date. Even though I say the exact date on this channel all the time, but it was way too long ago. Anybody see? Wow. Let's see. Wow, Barry Cunningham really getting the attention of Dolphin players. That's hard to believe, man. I guess he has some pull these days. That's pretty cool that he gets the attention. He must be. Yeah, I know he has a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers, so I get it. But man, to get the attention of a Dolphin player, I guess your name's out there. He was asked. Mike McDaniel touched on Jerome Baker, saying he hasn't played football, done any drills since November, but he will be practicing, and there is some hope that he can play, but he didn't really touch on it too much, Aquavision. So we will have to wait and see on that. He will have another press. What's today? Today's so tomorrow. Mike McDaniel will have his Friday news conference, and hopefully we find out more on that front. But Baker is out there. He participated in some drills. Waddle participated in some drills, but it was walkthrough drills. So that's a big difference than going out there, doing full football drills. So it'd be interesting to see when they step it up on the playing field on who's out there participating. But yes, the injury list is long for the Miami Dolphins. As my buddy Steve Malloy said, it almost looks like a full roster. That's how many players are on the injured list for the Miami Dolphins heading into this final game of the season against Buffalo. It's ugly. Try this part. Yep, no, Miami has to, man. So why would Miami play? Well, they better step up. It's just, it's they're doomed. Back, I wish it worked like that, JB, because the Dolphins definitely are worked and are due for winning, but being due and actually going out and earning it are big two different stories. But man, when you just list some of the guys we've lost this year, I don't want to turn this into an excuse hour because I said all year that there's no excuses that this team needs JB. I mean, has to back it up. Ben's podcast. I mean, has a higher standard, but I said at least a playoff victory this year is what the Miami Dolphins need to show me that they're moving in the right directions. JB wants to ring for the players all the way to the big Super Bowl dance and win it, which is understandable. That should be the goal of every fan and every team across the league. But to me, at least it'd be a building block. If you can win the AFC East, win a playoff game, and you can show, okay, this team, they're under the right direction. They're hitting the right way. They got the leadership that can get things done in a playoff game with things on the line against good teams. That has yet to be proven on this front yet. So we do have to step up in a big way this week. Let's see. I'm hoping for an entertaining game with no injuries and let the best team win. Hallelujah to you, Timothy Washington, for sure. Because we have not avoided the no injury part for a while. It's been brutal. Maybe. No, I was going to say the Dallas game, but we lost Waddle in the Dallas game. So that's not even true. Yeah, yeah. And then, of course, we know we lost two guys against the Ravens and Xavier Howard and Chubb. I don't know the exact status of Xavier Howard, but he's not going to be playing this week. But we will see moving forward into the playoffs. I don't know how bad his injury is. Haven't really seen much on that front. Hey, good morning, Red, White, and Bills. Good morning, Thursday chat. Watching y'all log. I think it'd be the best game these two teams played in the hour. And I hope so, man. I hope so. Because if it's not, a blowout probably favors your team. So hopefully the Dolphins can find a way to get tough, get back to. They got blown out against the Ravens. So hopefully they take that as a learning experience, as Mike McDaniel loves to say, build upon it, learn from the adversity, and get better character and go out there and beat Buffalo. They can be beat. Buffalo hasn't been playing the greatest, but they've been playing well enough to win. They've looked great in some games, and then some other games they just get that victory, which is all you need to do in the NFL, as the Dolphins can attest to. So we'll see. Coming down there, I wish it was at 1:00 in the afternoon, but it's been moved to the night. So the Dolphins are going to have to overcome that, where historically they haven't even played that well in night games. I mean, at home. So Miami needs to step up and shine in the light this week for sure. Yeah, I know. That is such a hey, good morning, new attitude. Big fins up to you. You're right, G-Man. The Tyreek Hill house is catching on fire. It's just such a Dolphin story. Luckily, everyone's safe. No one got hurt, but it's just such a Miami Dolphins story. It's just like so Dolphins when I saw that story. I'm like, it's just so Dolphins. It's just like we're almost cursed at times. I don't believe in curses really, but it's just like, man, it's like just a hex over our team sometimes. Like I said, no one's hurt, but he's walking around in a walking boot, looking at his house burning down. I said, man, this story is so Dolphins, and I don't make a light of it. At least it's just a house. No one got hurt, so that's the most. Firemen didn't get hurt. Everyone was safe, so it's all good. But it's just such a Dolphin story. Michael K. That's as false as a bullshit. What did he say? I heard Tyreek threw a lamp at his wife and the curtain started. Oh, Michael K. Cutting them. 20 up in smoke. Gee, man, all you guys coming in with the lines today. But all I know is doesn't all that they have to put that outside noise away and come with the thunder on them. They just got to come back. They have to come boom, hit the Bills. This is it, man. This is a defining moment for many Miami Dolphins in my matter. Doesn't mean if they don't win this week that they're gone and they're bye forever. But this would be a great game for Tua to step up. People say he doesn't step up when a lot of stuff's on the line. He can step up in prime time, secure an AFC East title for Miami. McDaniel can outcoach McDermott and show this is it. This is their chance to shine and prove that when the money's on the line, that they can come up and step up and perform so they can defeat that narrative. McDaniel has said it many times. They're not going to lose that narrative until they start beating these teams. This is a perfect game to close out a lot of narratives. Can't beat good teams, can't win at night, can't step up when things are on the line for titles. They can eliminate all of that this week by simply beating the Buffalo Bills. And yes, they're coming in depleted. And I know they're coming in depleted, but they still got to find a way to win. Simple as that. They still got some stars ready to go. They've got to go out there and make those stars align and come out on top of the AFC East this week. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they can focus on football. They need to focus on football. That's without a doubt. They definitely G-Man need to focus on football because this is it. If you can't focus on football this week, they have problems. I mean, let's face it. This is for the AFC East title, which is every team's goal across the league. If you ask their coaches every time you hear their opening year press conference to say what their goals are, it almost always contains winning your division is goal one. It's not the ultimate goal, but it's the first goal on the list. Because if you win a division game, if you win your division, you're in the playoffs, and you got a home game. So after of course you win your division, then you want to go secure higher seeds and yada 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 and get to the Super Bowl and win, which is every team's ultimate goal, of course. But when you listen to most coaches talk, when you listen to old football players like Joe Rose talk, he says Shula's goal was always to just win the division because he knew that would at least be one game at home when they went to that format. Back in the 70s, believe it or not, the Miami Dolphins were undefeated in 1972, and they still had to travel in the playoffs because they had a different format back then. So that was crazy. They actually had to play Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh after an undefeated season. So that's crazy. That's been changed down so the higher seeds get to play at home. So that's awesome stuff. So that's why every team is like, okay, let's go win our division, one home playoff game. Then the higher the seed you go, more home playoff games. So that's where it rolls. Hey, Dad Dean, boom. Long time no see. Well, I did see you, but you came in right at the end yesterday. So thank you for dropping in a little earlier. Dad Dean, big fins up to you. Thank you for coming in again today. Let's see. This is the third chance to win the division. The Dolphins. Yes, I agree. You are 100% right. That's why this is a closeout game for both teams now. Now the Bills have a chance to come close out the division and keep their streak of division titles alive. Miami had a 3-game lead this coming into this month, and unfortunately, we lost to Tennessee though earlier, and then we lost to some good teams. The one bad team, or quote unquote bad team, we lost to all years may cost us our division championship. But Buffalo lost a lot of games too, so we can't even point to that one game because Buffalo lost to Denver. Buffalo lost to some other teams I was surprised they lost to. So there's no excuses. It's time to step up, man up for our Miami Dolphins, and play next man up in many cases because we are banged up. And for the love of God, please keep Cater Kohu off of Diggs. Please. I like Kohu. He's a great story. He's an undrafted guy. Great story. They featured him on Hard Knocks the week before last. Super cool story, but please don't keep him on Diggs. You already proved. Please just get Ramsey on him or something. Shadow. I know, Fangio, you're hard-headed. You don't like shadowing, but you did it against the Jets. Why not at least put Ramsey on Diggs? At least go down with your best. If he gets beat, at least you say, well, you got beat with their best by using your best. Don't put an undrafted free agent who's a great story. Love me some Cater Kohu, but he does not belong on Diggs in this game this week. Simple as that. Or there's going to be some matchups where he may have to cover because they did a great route that got him into coverage, of course, but don't have him as a primary plan trying to cover it. Come on. You know this doesn't work. What's the definition of insanity is to keep on doing the same thing over and over. Please do not cover Kohu on Diggs this week. Yeah. G-Man. Yeah, Hard Knocks, like I say, we won a lot of games with Hard Knocks still being there, but is it a distraction? Who knows? End of the day, they still got to go out on Sundays and play because what we will never know is how they act when the cameras are off. Are they there dancing and doing their things in practice like they were doing this leading up to this week if the cameras weren't there? Or do they ham it up a little bit for the cameras and get distracted? That's, I guess, it's a great unknown that we would never know how their practices were before the Hard Rock camera crew hit the practice field, how they acted, how they conducted themselves, and all of that. But if that's a distraction, then we got bigger problems. You just got to put that stuff. It's there. There's not getting any way from it. We accepted it. Whoever the powers that be, because I know McDaniel wasn't big on it, but someone above him said, hey, it's going to be here. So lo and behold, we got to deal with it. It's just another aspect that you can't control, and they have to overcome it and go out and beat Buffalo this week. There's no excuses in my book. They have to find a way to beat Buffalo. Ross never makes a good decision. Yeah, well, maybe he makes good decisions away from the Dolphins. He's a billionaire. He has a construction company that he started basically from scratch and turned it into a billion-dollar enterprise. He's done other things well. He's built beautiful stuff, renovated our stadium, built a beautiful training complex, got Formula One, has had world class soccer matches at the stadium, has tennis thing. He's done everything well, but for the Dolphins, yes, he makes bad decisions on the Dolphins at times, and at least he pays the checks. Hey, we got an owner that's willing to pay, and I think that's why he's getting fed up because he's put so much money into this team, and what does he have to show for it? So I'm with you, but I don't want to throw it all on Ross. Maybe he didn't do some of the right hires, whatever. But at least he's out there trying and doing what he has to do, signing the guys. Yes, I know some people don't like him signing some of the rookie coaches, but everyone was saying Doug Peterson, who went on to Jacksonville, and I was thinking that might be a good hire, but Jacksonville has struggled down the stretch too. So sometimes doesn't really matter. What matters is how you perform on the field. So come on, Miami, step up, give Ross that first. He hasn't even tasted a playoff win since he's been here as the owner of the Miami Dolphins. It's been way too long since we won. And the last time we won was December 30th, 2000, guys. That's the last time the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game. Pat stats are fine. Dolphins shunned everyone this year to even have a chance to win the division. You're right, that Dean. That's why I'm trying to focus on this. Is it. We have the chance to win the division, final week of the season against Buffalo. We will see how it unfolds. I guess if you would have told me at the end of the season we would still be up for the division title and it would be based on the last game of the year at home against Buffalo, I would have taken it. But of course, I wouldn't have known that at one point we were 3 games up. So if at the beginning of the season you would have told me, yes, I would have jumped on that. But now after we were like 3 games up and we blew the lead, it doesn't feel quite the same. But you can still go out there and rectify it. You blew your chance, any chance at number 1 seed. You can lock up number 2 seed, lock up the AFC East by simply going out and beating the Buffalo Bills, who spanked you earlier in the year. So Miami needs to step up to the plate and beat Buffalo this week. And I think that would be a step in the right direction no matter what happens after that. Hey, hooked up Joe Boone. Thank you, Joe, for coming in this morning. And always a pleasure to see you, Joe, come up in here. So hook up Joe with some big thumbs up. Let's see what he has to say, actually. Reading this. I hope he says nice, but I trust Joe. So let's see. Before I'm putting it up there. Mike, I'm enjoying the end of the football season. Wherever it ends, the fans whine every other post with something terrible about the team. Is just something to watch at this point. Yeah, no, you're right, man. But I think, hooked up Joe, there is some worry I think the Ravens game brought out all the doomsdayers just because of the final score. If Miami had lost by 3, we would have been talking about, oh man, if we would have done that, or if we didn't burn that time out, or something, we would have just been focusing on one thing. But when you go out there and you just get beat down for the world to see, you're playing almost in front of a national audience. They had that game going to, and you just go. I think that's why Dolphin fans are a little more divided this week, and you see division among our own ranks. And it's been a nasty week among Dolphin fans out there. People calling people out. End of the day, we all want the Dolphins to win. And it's Throwback Thursday. There, I had to throw that term in there one more. It's a Throwback Thursday on Dolphin Thirsty. Heck, a whole bunch of THs in there. So, but with that said, they have to play like their old throwback teams. Take no prisoners, dominate this week, and win the division. Because if you win the division, At least, like I say, you got a home playoff game. You may very well have to play. We went over the scenarios yesterday, and I don't have that my graph up on here anymore. But basically, we're either going to play good chance we play Buffalo again. There is a chance we play Pittsburgh again if Pittsburgh beats Baltimore and Jacksonville. Just there's scenarios like that where we will, and then in that case, Buffalo would actually be out of the playoffs altogether if we win. But most likely, if we win, we there's a good chance we're playing Buffalo again because a few things have to happen not for Miami and Buffalo back-to-back weeks. Could it be? We'll find out because one of the game is Saturday. So we will have a little bit better understanding of who we're going to face. But the most important thing is just win, baby. Just win. Go out there and win this week. Bring home the AFC East title to the starving Miami Dolphin fans that haven't had a AFC East title since Tom Brady got injured. And we won that year, and it still came down to the last game of the year. So lo and behold, here we are, last game of the year, and we have a chance to win the division. And that year, we had to go on the road to win the last game of the year against the Jets, and we did. This year, we're at home against a team that's beaten us handily recently, but we have control of our own destiny. That's the most positive spin I can put on it, Joe. But it's tough. I just see. That's why to me, for infighting of Dolphin fans, to me, it's crazy because we all want the same thing at the end of the day. We all want the Dolphins to win, and we all just react different to losses. I would never tell how anyone, a fan, if someone wants to be happy and point out only the good in a 50s and 6-0 game, and then just make it even worse than what it was. That's fine with me. I don't care. Or if someone only wants to point out the bad, the one thing I don't take is personal insults at the other people or wishing injury upon other players on any team in the NFL. Other than that, I never tell how anyone to fan, and I think Joe agrees with me on that count that he doesn't tell how people to fan either. So you can either be positive, you can be negative, you can just be doubtful. Me, I'm always kind of cautiously optimistic. I always hope for the best, but I worry about the worst. It's just being a Dolphin fan for so long, I almost come to expect the other shoe to drop. And it's not, I'm not a dedicated fan. It's just been part of my fan life because all my other aspects of my life super duper. But man, when it comes to rooting for the Dolphins, it's been gut punch after gut punch after gut punch. I mean, it's just what it is. It is what it is, and we've got to overcome that. Our Miami Dolphins this week and deliver some gut punches to the Buffalo Bill fans and their team this week. Uh, different. There's the Bills. Let's see. Guys, let's all get along and chat, guys. We're all other than Mike. Okay, we're all rooting for the same team. We all want the same. We all want the best results. We all want the Miami Dolphins to win, and that's it. If people are worried, that's fine. If you're super positive, that's fine. Me, I'm in the model. Very moderate in the road. I want my Dolphins to win, but I have concerns. But I also have hope. That's where that's where I roll with the Miami Dolphins this year because they've given me enough of winning to think that they're a good team, but they've done poor enough against all the good teams they face to give me concern. So this week would be a big statement game for the Dolphins. As I said earlier in this show, it's a must win. You got the chance to wrap up the 2023 season with an AFC East title by simply going out and coming out 1 point ahead of the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night to close the regular season of the NFL. The last game of the season in the whole NFL will be our Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. So we should just all unite as fans, man. That's what we need to do. We need to go up there and boom and do what we have to do. Hey, Red, right. But I still want you to get on. I know you got Miss Finn's or some show you're going to be on. I think no, you were on Miss Finn's. I know you've been all over. You were on where were you? Oh, you were on Shake Money show last night, and you got Miss Finn's coming up this week. I was going to try to snag you to be on one of our shows, but I don't know how to get a hold of you on Twitter. Um, I'm Dolphin Thirsty on Twitter if you have any time available. Dad Deem, what did Dad seen? I don't know. At least Dolphins going to earn the Super Bowl title this year. I don't know if he's referring to. Hey, all I know, Dad Dean, is I don't know about the Super Bowl, but I would say AFC East title would be a good start in the right direction. Let's take it one game at a time. Let's go out there, beat Buffalo this week, and then we will see. We may have to face them 2 weeks in a row, which is really tough because they get if they beat us, they get an easier matchup than us having to face Buffalo back to back. I think they get like Indianapolis or something like that. So I'm like, geez, the scheduling gods love Buffalo on the playoff. Not saying that there's any easy wins in the playoff, but Buffalo definitely would have a tougher. I mean, Miami having to beat Buffalo 2 weeks in a row is a lot tougher than Buffalo having to beat Indianapolis if they happen to beat us on Sunday night. It's weird. But hey, that's how it goes. That's how the schedule rolls, how the cookie crumbles. So it is what it is. Is that he wants to well, that's definitely not my ideal situation, Mr. Red, White, and Bills, but I can see why it would be your situation. So this week game is critical, obviously, both for the Dolphins and the Bills. Dolphins come in banged up, but I refuse to. I've mentioned it a few times, but I refuse to make it an excuse. They've got to go in there, find a way, will themselves to victory, and I think they're capable of it. This is a very important game, needless to say, for both teams, because both teams know trying to win 3 games in a row on the road in the playoffs as a tough ask in today's NFL. So at least having that one game in your home stadium with your home crowd is a benefit getting you off on the right direction in the NFL playoffs. So that's why it's critical to win because being in the playoffs 3 games in a row on the road is a recipe for not very. I mean, it's been done. It's been done. The New York Giants beat the that had been undefeated New England Patriots in the Super Bowl after having to go through all the rigors of a 3-game playoff. So it can happen. Believe me, I celebrated. That's a sad state of being a Dolphin fan at my age. Too young to remember the Super Bowl champions that wore this logo here proudly. But um, so my biggest happy Super Bowl was when the Giants beat New England to knock New England off from the undefeated ranks in the Super Bowl. That's how close it got. And to me, that was like my happiest I've been after a Super Bowl. So I need this team here to rock and roll and make me have that happy Super Bowl minute. I'm done rooting against teams. I would just want to root for my team because the past few years, it just gets to the point, well, the Dolphins aren't there again. I got to root against this team because I don't want this team to win. It's basically, it's not like I root for any team to win. It's a team I root against teams more than root for a team. And that's a sad way to roll. So I want to be able to root for my team moving forward instead of rooting against some team. So that's how I want to go. I love where our team is and where it's going. I respect our team now for what they are doing now. And see, Joe, that's a fine, reasonable expectation. I'm with you on that front. And that's how I kind of roll. But like I say, I'm always worried about the next. I just think this is an important game this week. I just think Miami needs to find a way, Joe, to win this week. And then I'm with you 100% on that take. I just think they need to build because if they don't win this week, what have they really done better over the past couple of years with all this talent they have on the roster? if they just a wild card team again, and especially if they're one and done. So I'm going to let this story conclude before I comment really on what I think needs to be done or whatever, because it's just silly at this point. Because we still have a chance for this team to get a lot accomplished, and that's what I'm here for. I think we have that chance. Yes, caps can be we are going to have to take some cap casualties, but for the most part, you can probably keep the guys that you really want to keep, and then you just better hit in the draft, hit undrafted free agents on street free agents that maybe wasn't a fit somewhere else, and then step up and go because it's going to be tough from what they're saying to like you're going to basically have to choose. There's a question, Joe. If you had to choose between, let's just have a little fun off season after Dolphins win some playoff games and all that. We make the story better. Off season, it comes down to they come to McDaniel and Chris Greer tells them, well, we can either keep Wilkins or we can keep Van Ginkel, but there's no way we can keep both of them. Keeping in mind that we don't know what Phillips' status is to start next season or Chubb's status to start next season, and keeping in mind that we don't know who's going to fill in for Wilkins if he walks in the interior defense of the line. But who would you keep, Mr. GM Hooked Up Joe? Given the chance, you can only keep one, Van Ginkel or Kristen Wilkins. You can only keep one, and it could very well come down to that from what I've been reading. And because other players you can rework kind of, but those two are going to be hard to fit on your contract, both of them, if you want to keep some of the offensive line talent we have. Keep the van man, Timothy Watkins says. And then he says Wilkins. So we got 50-50 on that. Don't think AVG is a solid full-time game as he is good when he is out there. So we got a Wilkins and a Van Man. But I think it may be Van Ginkel if word is Phillips won't be ready to start the season with his Achilles, and Chubb may be out for almost a calendar year, they're saying typically with this AC. So who knows? I know players get back quicker than they used to. Look at Jalen Ramsey, already came back from his injury that people thought he was going to be out longer, and he came back, but still, it's a long-term injury, so we got to keep some of that stuff in mind. So we got a lot of Wilkins must stay. I know we all love Wilkins. And then he says Ed Oliver played Wilkins out of a decent contract. Well, to me, Wilkins is having a good year. This week, he didn't have a very good game, according to people that watched the all 22. But hey, you're not going to go out there and ball out. Who did really? Like I said, Sealer had a couple good plays. That was just one of those games that I don't know who you saw them walking off on Hard Knocks, the most meh episode of Hard Knocks this year. But I forced myself to watch it, and they were walking off the field saying, "What happened? I can't believe we just got destroyed." And it was ugly. So really, who showed up in that game? I'm not going to point, but I just saw some of those all 22 watchers saying, "Oh, Wilkins didn't show up. He got handled in the running game, and he didn't make the tackles he usually makes." So I didn't sit and break it down. Who wants to watch that game again? That was ugly. Coaches and players have to watch it again because that's what they get paid to do. But me, I just get that game out of my memory. But from what some people say, he didn't play well this week. Hey, I hope so, man. Loves Hibby. I hope so, Aquavision. But Josh Allen has, for whatever reason, dominated the Dolphins as much as it pains me to say it. He's 9-2 against Miami in his career. I think his touchdown to interception ratio is like in the 30s to 30 something touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So Miami has to find a way to get around that, bring in some of the errors that Josh Allen makes. They can do it against our team this time around. So we've got to find a way to not let him kill us like he's killed us in recent history. I mean, 9-2 against us. That's pains me to say, but it's I looked it up and it's all true. He has a great career passer rating against us. For whatever reason, he eats his Cheerios every day that he comes to play the Miami Dolphins. Maybe the Miami Dolphins, looked at him wrong when a scout in the draft process or something. He just comes out and he guns out my. He just comes out to play Miami, and it is what it is. Because I know we all make jokes. Oh, it's going to be another interception by Josh Allen, but for whatever reason, when he goes against Miami, he acts like he's Dan Marino numbers out there and looks like he's an elite guy. That he is a really good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but when against Miami, he just steps it up. And Tua has not performed. Conversely, Tua has not done well against Buffalo. So it's time to reverse course for Tua to step up and have a good game against Buffalo. And that can rectify a lot of things on that because I think Buffalo is going to be able to move the ball against us. So we're going to have to step up and be able to score with them. We can't fall back. We're going to have to keep the pressure on, keep moving the ball, and our guys have to step up on offense as banged up as they are. And that's my key to the game. Hey, thank you for coming in. Tua has 10 total TDs in his last 9 games. This might go okay. It's neck and shoulder for Aaron. Let's see. Oh, I didn't even see you guys sneaked in there earlier. So what's up to you guys too? I hate saying your name because I want Behana or Banana. I don't know if it's always a play. You can spell it out for me, but thank you. Big fins up. You come in here a lot. Thank you guys. And I know you always hit those thumbs up. You throw those Dan Marino laser passes at those thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, tackle that subscribe button. Nanner. Who's Nanner? Oh, Nanner's this one. But anyway, guys, it's almost at the end of this show here. Here's an easy trivia question for you old-time Miami Dolphins fans. What year were the Miami Dolphins established? Their first year that they played football down in the Orange Bowl. What year did the Miami Dolphins begin? Just a little trivia for you on this Throwback Thursday. Little Throwback Thursday. What year were the Miami Dolphins established? Timothy Washington. We position group are the most worried about the games Sunday. Same question for Bills fans. Timothy, I'm worried about our defense, not in a particular position group. Cornerback, I guess, would be the most because of the injury status of Xavier. I sure as heck, do not want Cater Kohu. Again, I said it earlier in the show, but I do not want Cater Kohu on Diggs. It's a recipe for disaster that they will exploit. So I don't want that. Obviously, the position group, obviously, the offensive line's in there because of how the banged up status of them. And, so there's a couple position groups right there, but I guess defensive backs just because of what we witnessed up there in Buffalo, Diggs running free on Kohu way too many times. So, guys, that hooked up Joe or G-Man, what year did the Miami Dean? What year did the Dolphins start playing football? Oh, Aquavision's worried about linebacker. So, hey, fair enough. Fair enough. We see what Jerome Baker, if he can go or can't go. We should know better tomorrow when Mike McDaniel does his Friday presser. So we would get to know a little bit more on his status. He's at least out there. Close. That's the year Don Shula was hired, Mike. Okay, that was the year Don Shula was hired by the Miami Dolphins, but they started a few years before that. There you go. Bing, ding, 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 ding to the Banana Man. Or 1966. That's the correct answer. Good job there. Wish I had a big prize to give you, but you can get a fins up. Good job. You rocked. Thank you for nailing that answer here today. Yep, hooked up, Joe. Yes, good big fins up. Boom, 1966. You correcto mundo. Yes. Was it Fonzie or Richie Cunningham? One of those said it. Correcto mundo, whatever. But you get the picture. Big fins up to you. All you guys chiming in, yes, 1966. Okay. Hey, I was -3 back then when the Dolphins. I came into the Dolphin universe in 1969 when I was born. So 1969. So the Dolphins were only 3 years into their franchise history when I was born. So, and which makes it unfortunate, kind of, because all their best years were very early in their franchise history. And I was a bit too young to remember all those days. So it's time for the new memories to kick in and the Dolphins to do some kicking butt out there on the football field to make all of our fandom pay off eventually. Whoa, Timothy, what? You're really young, Timothy. So I don't even know how old you were the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. Timothy, you must have been really young. I don't feel like doing the math, but let's see. Dolphins winning. Oh my goodness, 100-year anniversary. Well, I won't be around for that one then, man. But at least my kids and maybe their kids and whatever. But 2073, that would be an awful wait for sure for a Dolphin fan. That's right. Ralph Wilson loaned the owners money to start them. I know it was Joe Robbie back then, and then Danny Thomas was like yes, Dad, Dean, you are right. All you guys got that question. So big fins up to all of you guys. It's almost the end of a Dolphin Thirsty Thursday. I hope you guys all hit the thumbs up. Thank you guys for getting along. Like I say, may not always agree. It's still my best Steve Malloy. May not always agree, but one thing we can agree upon is we want the Miami Dolphins to win, with the exception of Red, White, and Bills and Michael K. Everyone that came in the room today want the Miami Dolphins to win. So no reason for the fighting among people in the social media. I wonder if back in the 1980s, if social media was a thing, there would have been people saying, Dan Marino's not good. Blah, blah, blah. I would love to have seen that because it probably would have been. My guess is probably so because people saying people got worse. I just think it's social media's made it easier to see what people say and think and say. Because if we all had social media, we would have all been back there. Can you imagine in 1984 the YouTubes and the Twitters and the whatever out there in the Facebooks of the world, whatever your method is, there would have been people ripping Dan Marino, would have been people ripping Don Shula because even without the social media, there was people calling for Don Shula when you used to have to wait like 2 hours to call into your local AM radio station to get your 4 minute, maybe not even 4 minutes, probably 40 seconds of airtime with the talk show host when you say, oh, I don't think Dan Marino's very good or Don Shula needs to go. The game's passed him by. Can you imagine if it was social media back in those days? It would have probably been the same. It's just today, it's out there. Everyone within 1 minute can be talking about something on a national level. And that's why Joe Rose on his radio show often says he's so happy there wasn't video phones and camera phones back in his playing days because he goes, I would have been on there probably doing something stupid or saying something stupid, and it would have been all over the internet within 1 minute. He goes, he was blessed. He goes, Shula would have busted me so many times. Fans would have been seeing me out there partying, and I would be busted when I was supposed to be in for curfew. So I just wonder if social media what would they would have said about Dan Marino back in the 80s. Let's see. What I say, and I'm upset. It's been 40 years. I'm numb to it. I've accepted the fact that I never see a Super Bowl. More important. Oh, there's definitely more important things in life, of course. But for the fun fandom and the fun part, we all want to see our Dolphins win for sure. And this is entertainment at the end of the day. gives us all something to talk about to escape regular work life, other stresses. Of course, Dolphins give us some of their own stresses, but other than that, it's for fun. It's just been way too long since our Dolphins have won, but things change. Hopefully, things get turned around and a little luck comes our way of it because you do need a little luck. As skilled as a team can be, like the Eagles last year, even though they lost in the Super Bowl, they didn't lose a starter all year basically on defense. And I don't think they lost any on offense. They lost players with injuries, but all their players that played in the Super Bowl had started the season as starters. So you do need a little luck along the way in avoiding some injuries. Still need to be a good football team. End of the day, there's no luck involved as far as that. But sometimes it's just luck as far as avoiding injuries because the injuries are going to happen in football, but sometimes you can escape them for a season where your star players don't go out. And that's the big difference. We lost so many star players this year, it's too many to count. But this is the no excuse episode of Dolphins Thirsty. So, but just to keep that in mind. Let's see. The Bills don't get blown out. We win. Hey, I like that, Joe. Anything with the Dolphins coming out on top is a good thing. I would take that 26-20 score for sure. Guys, I will have a pregame show Sunday morning at 10 a.m. to give my exact score prediction. I'm also going to be on Saturday on the Finns Talk Sports Network as a fill-in because Bobby Finns Talk can't talk on his normal show at noon. So I'll be filling in there on the Finns Talk Sports Network because he's coaching his son's sports team. So I will be filling in for that. Let's see. Oh no, definitely. Marino was a joy to Ross. Never going to see another like him or Shula. 100% right. 100% right. Even though Marino didn't win us a Super Bowl, G-Man, you are 100% right. He was so much fun to watch. It was a pleasure every week knowing he was going out there to toss the football around the field like we've never seen before. Hitting Duper Clayton that more. It was fun. Later in his career, O.J. McDuffie, Irvin Fryer, he brought us lots of joy. Just not quite the Super Bowl championship, but hey, he went out there and at least did his thing. So hopefully some of these future Dolphins step up and do their thing and bring back a little pride to South Florida football land. So it's been way too long. I think we can all agree on that aspect. No, to me, yes, if the Dolphins win, it is a good thing. It's something that you can build upon for the future. But if you go out and you lose and then you're one and done in the playoffs, we're really no better off from where we were with Flores, no better off where we were before the whole tank thing because we went out and we did everything to win a playoff game this year. And we don't do that, but I'm not going to talk about that because I think we're going to get it done. But just saying, to me, there is some pressure on this team, not as far as firings or getting rid of. That's nonsense. Everyone's going to be back. But for the simple fact that you don't want that pressure going into next season because then it could be a final season. Because like I've said, Ross has a 3-year itch, guys, as much as we like McDaniel and what this team's done, unless he's just learned like, okay, we can't just fire someone every few years. But he just seems to have that itch where he wants to something starts itching. He says, we need a change. And he fires them. So, we will see how he does this year. But I'm still have hope. I have hope that we can beat Buffalo. It's set up beautifully. It's in your home stadium for the AFC East title. What more can you ask for? Oh, I know. I grew up with Marino and Shula too. I mean, I actually started with David Woodley and Don Strock combination, but that combination got to a Super Bowl and lost. But it happens. And then a couple years later, they're right back in the Super Bowl with Dan Marino. Mark Clayton setting the league on fire, but they lost. But I thought for sure we were going to be back after that Super Bowl. And here we are, Stone Age later, millions of years later, and we still haven't made a Super Bowl appearance. It would help if I open the cap. Oh, man. So anyway, guys, thank you for Thirsty Thursday. I appreciate you guys coming in here. If you haven't done so already, nail those likes buttons. Just remember, you guys rock. You make this channel fun. Hooked Up Joe, G-Man. You may never be on the same page, but there's one thing you guys do want. You want the best for your team. And that's all that you can ask for. The Dolphins can unite us, and that's what's good. Because like G-Man pointed out, there's a lot more important things going on in the world, but football's a good escape. And hopefully the Dolphins give us some reason to cheer this Sunday night with an AFC East title under our belt. Long overdue. And with that, I'm closing out the video, guys. Thank you so much. Big fins up to all you guys. You rock. Life is great. And most importantly, you guys are great. Thank you.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won.